Hey guys, just wanted to do a short video on plugins and what you think you might need when you're starting out. I know when I started using DAW software and plugins, it's quite tempting to just grab as many as you can because you've got magazines like Computer Music and Future Music, and they'll have plugins on the cover discs, and you'll just download them all and install them all to your DAW and start using them. But I think that's quite a confusing way of working when you're just starting out. And my recommendation would be to choose, for synths, for example, I would choose 2 or 3 core synths that you use and only use those when you're starting out. And the reason is that there's enough to learn already without baffling yourself with all the options of 10 or 15 synth plugins, and then you'll have 50 effects plugins and 20 compressors. So if we take a look at synths first of all, I would suggest that you grab 3 stock synths. Now, the first type of synth I would choose would be something simple, basic, and bread and butter. Now, you've got quite a few options here. The obvious one is Synth, which has been around for years now, but it's still around because it sounds very, very good. Now, running it on 32-bit on Mac, there's supposed to be a 64-bit version coming out soon, so fingers crossed that arrives shortly. But it's still great for creating simple sounds like basses and leads, and the filters on it and the envelopes, they all work really well. So it's kind of similar sound to a Virus, which is why it did so well. Another option would be there's a free one called Synth 1. It looks kind of ugly, and that's been around for donkey's years as well, but it also sounds really nice. It's quite similar to Synth in a way. So take a look at that as well. The next simple, straightforward synth I'd look at is Anna by Sonic Academy. I've done a few presets for this, and it sounds really good. It's got a few quirks and a few foibles, but the sound that comes out of it's really nice. And it's designed very similarly to Silent. Let me just switch it on down here. So it's got that kind of acidy, grimy. It's great for trance stuff. The super saws on these work really well. It's got a few additional features. You've got a number of different oscillator types. Silent does the virtual analog stuff very well. So you've got saw, square, sine, and triangle, and a couple of others. But Anna gives you a load more. So they've sampled some saws, some chords, and bells, etc. And over on the right here, you've got some attack oscillators, which add some bite to the initial start of the sound. So it's definitely worth looking at. So the first one to choose is a simple synth plugin. Now, the second type of plugin I would personally choose, if I was limiting myself to 3, would be something like Massive or Serum, and these are the wavetable synths. And my personal choice is Serum. I don't really like Massive very much. I think it sounds a bit digital and cold, and I don't like the UI, but millions of people love it, so don't just take my word for that. But my choice here would be Serum. This gives you a very contemporary, forward dance sound. The filters on it are really nice as well. You've got a good choice of filters. The effects are very good as well. And the UI, the interface is fantastic. It's so easy to program. And there's all sorts of weird presets in here. You've got that dubstepy kind of sound. I mean, dubstep's dead in the water, but there are sounds from dubstep that are still used in dance music today. That kind of stuff. But Serum just sounds fantastic, and the UI is great. Also, Steve Duda, the developer, he's a cool guy, so I would support him. So there's the first 2 types of synths. Something simple, bread and butter, like Silent, Anna, or Synth 1. And then I would also choose Serum. And lastly, this is kind of an optional thing, but I would choose something more sound designy, something you can really kind of get under the hood and make some crazy stuff. And the 2 I would choose would be Zebra, which it's just mental. There's so much you can do with this thing. I'm not going to go into it now, but I've got to switch it on again. Bloody Ableton. there's so many kinds of weird noises that you can do with this thing. Yeah, so it's kind of endless what you can do. It's such a complicated monster. If that's a little bit too intimidating, the other thing to choose is Omnisphere. There was another one called Alchemy by Camel Audio, but they were recently bought out by Apple, and Apple are going to just kill the plugin. It might turn up in Logic at some point, but you can't buy it anymore, so that's a shame because it was good. I've got Omnisphere 2 installed on the PC, but I've only got it on. I've only got the original Omnisphere on the Mac here, but they're very, very similar. But what Omnisphere will give you is thousands and thousands and thousands of very, very good atmospheric presets. There's a lot of misunderstanding with Omnisphere. People say it's a rompler, like something like Nexus, which I would not recommend because it's expensive. But Omnisphere is definitely not a rompler. There's a very, very deep and powerful synth engine underneath it as well. And what Omnisphere brings is sampled waveforms. So you can have, what have we got here? Make the same mistake again and again. There's so much weird stuff going on in the background with Omnisphere. And because a lot of the oscillators are sampled waveforms, it gives you a sound that you can't do with some of the other plugins I've mentioned. So if we go to, what have we got down here? Where are we? Keyboards. Yeah, if you hear that little attacky part of that sound, it's going to be a sampled, like a piano hammer or something like that. Then there's the famous burning piano. Can you hear the burning in the background there? It's like insanity. Some of the presets on here are insane. And then you've got human voice samples. I would not use those. I have used that one. But this kind of stuff you can't do in the virtual analog synths, even in Zebra. Zebra doesn't have sampled waveforms yet. There's a hint that it might come in version 3, but it's not there yet. So yeah, Omnisphere gives you a ton of sampled content. Omnisphere 2, there's even more. I think they went to a cave in Russia and recorded themselves hitting stalactites with hammers or something. No, it was a radioactive cave. That's it. Awesome. So, if you're going to start using DAW and you're going to start using software to make music, I would choose wisely. These would be my recommendations to start yourself off. I wouldn't download any more to start with because you are just going to confuse yourself. Okay, any questions, just ask in the comments section below, and I'll see you in the next video.